Comfortable. We are beginning this class. How many people? Maybe 30s? Something. Check. No, let.
It's summer.
Summer also people go to vacation?
Vacation.
This is in the area when I was come to India, 1990. First we start to my class. 156 months. First, couple of years. Last we get Geshe, I think maybe 60 months get Geshe, and after all gone. No. But then who is more effort, serious study, then they talk continue. Although sometimes people are not interested, sometimes people bored, not making sense. Also sometimes people are not ready to study. The Naras, demons
Blessing.
Demons blessing. They lost interest. We say, I don't know, it's true. I think it's true, some people talk to something and positive things, then they change their mind. They don't need interest anymore. They choose Mara's blessing their mind. Then people have said, feeling interest in some positive things, they shows their Bodhisattvas blessing their mind. They change your mind completely. But those blessing is what? You don't find what's blessing. Blessing is you transfer your mind, positive or negative. Blessing has two blessings. Good blessing, bad blessing. If you mind go to bad place, then moral. What's the moral? Mara. Mara's blessing our mind. Then you have more interest to positive things there. Gods, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, teachings, they bless our mind. Anyway, we talk about mind. And then
So the mind and awareness, or mind and cognition, there are 7 types. So among these 7, so there are 3. So there are 3 which cognizes the object, and there are 4 which do not cognize the object. So what are the 3 awarenesses of mind? So first let's count the 7 the minds and cognitions.
Yes, it's a mask. But let's
So the first one is the direct value cognition, right?
and the
And second one is the inferential value cognition.
and Geshe
And then the subsequent cognition
and the church,
and correctly assuming consciousness.
Mama Village,
So the awareness to which the object appears without being ascertained.
that's one,
Then doubting consciousness.
Loshi,
And then there's a wrong consciousness.
they come seven.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah. That's very now, right? That get to below, sumir, they got it.
So here, so among these seven, there are three of them which cognize object. What are they?
Yeah, maybe we Ian try to say.
Which one gave one?
Those who cognize
This,
object.
this is the Nalamanga. What is it, Nalamanga?
Awareness to which the object appears without being ascertained.
You heard me, right? What is that? You just heard.
He's saying that's the instance. That.
Yeah, yeah, you heard that. You heard my caution, right? But you don't know what I was talking about because
So that is an example.
you what's it? You not you might forget that, but you heard that you don't know what they say. So what's the three supposed?
What are the three cognizing consciousnesses?
The three cognizing consciousnesses.
What's the
three
seven?
cognizes.
First
Three
maybe-
consciousnesses which cognize.
First maybe you also 나라방이 바지 로드 가지고 자성 바지. 그걸 대도 바지 나라방이 자성.
So maybe those seven consciousnesses also became object which appears without being ascertained to you.
You got it? You got seven?
You know
No.
the sevens?
I just got a pen now.
I really don't know. I think you went to tea.
I was putting.
Okay. Yes, Tema. Just Bobby Tema.
So the direct value cognition, inferential value cognition,
And Geshe,
subsequent cognition, right?
Yichi,
And the correctly assuming consciousness,
Nanamangewa,
the awareness to which an object appears without being ascertained,
Petron,
and then doubting consciousness,
Lokshe.
and then wrong consciousness.
You got it? Okay. Now what are the three tolos in the garden?
So what are the three consciousnesses which cognize the object?
Direct value consciousness. Direct.
Yeah.
The subsequent cognitive.
Okay.
Not that one. No, I'm not saying, yeah. Go ahead. Then,
Last.
do you come to sing the channel?
You don't remember the definitions, do you?
Do you got it?
And then the definition of direct consciousness and directly assuming consciousness.
If you recognize the definition, then we understand, right? You don't remember?
So the question is the three that cognize their object?
Yeah.
Maybe Ali got it? Just try to say.
Maybe the inferential, it's inferential consciousness.
이제 마지막 떠올라.
The third
Huh? What?
horizons, I don't remember.
Any I don't want to ask him.
The sixth and the seventh one, because it was going so fast, what were they?
The doubting consciousness and wrong
Wrong
consciousness.
consciousness, okay.
Then maybe you can know. You don't remember?
Correctly assuming consciousness, because it cognizes it, but it doesn't always have a reason why.
이쪽을 도교할 때 나타나냐 이제 안 돼요, 말았어.
대말. 이제도 맞춰서 하는 거야. 이제는 또 되는 맞춰서.
So if it's correctly assuming consciousness, then it's necessarily not cognized as object.
야. 단다. 제가 나머지라 통화서. 내서 말어. 또 먼저 시작은 내리를 받아 내서 되기로.
Yeah, so the first one is the direct recognition, right?
Yeah.
So that one is the what says
또 뭐야 됐어.
so it's a new incontrovertible cognitive. There's a free of conceptuality. That's the definition of the direct recognition, right? So it is a valid cognition, right? It's incontrovertible.
다 알려주려고 왔어. I think we are not yet page numbers. We're not yet page number.
We're just discussing in general. It's not any specific page.
Yeah.
He's just kind of reviewing.
Yeah, this is review. We didn't start that. Okay. Now Ali said, Ali, what you said?
Inferential.
Yeah. Well, what's the definition this month?
Inferential.
You know?
Depends on the signs.
You don't remember? I don't get out of cover. She suddenly repass.
So the definition of the inferential cognition. What's that?
This one, and this page number?
Page 20.
Yeah, can you read this? Read.
Yes.
Yeah.
A new incontrovertible determinative knower that is directly produced in dependence on a correct sign that is its basis. Page 20, bottom of page 20.
Page 20?
Yes. Bottom of page 20.
Inference for oneself and for others. Inferential recognize it, yeah.
이거를 선생님들 이제 고라고 돼요.
So do you understand from the definition? A new incontrovertible determinative knower that is directly produced in dependence on correct sign that is its basis.
다 딜로도 간이 샤워했는데 내가 담은 거 따스한 용에서 재밌어요. 용에서 재밌어서 나는 깜짝 좋은데 와서 내가서 재미 보고 그랬어. 딱 보고 말이야. 그 통화도 곧또 들었어. 내가 맞아.
And so first we talked about the direct perceiver, right? The direct recognition, and so something that we see directly, like the cup that we see on the table. So we don't have to have any, we don't have to apply any reasons or signs to understand to see that, right? We can see it directly.
다 빼셔가지고 나서 다시 말해서 나랑 때도 받은 데가 다들 가는고 내가 오고 싶어. 다 자세도 자고로 사람 다 пом바 나 값을 다 값다고 왔어. 값때 나 대고를 거기 가더라고. 나 리가야 리 잡으려야 다시 매요 살이스. 가지나 리그가 더 와는데 왔어. 또 어떻게 그랬어?
So for example, you want to, well, you see the smoke on top of the mountain, but you don't see the fire, and so because it's covered by the mountain, so you think that there is a fire behind the mountain because there's a smoke coming from the top of the mountain. And so from the sign of seeing that smoke, then you come to understand that there is a fire.
그러니까 딱 빠가는 더워서 라이 취지에서 매일 다 더워요. 또 어떻게 그랬어?
And so what we say, and normally how we say that thesis is that like it says there is a fire, behind that mountain which possesses, which possesses a smoke because there's a smoke. There's a fire on the mountain behind on the mountain that possesses a smoke because there's smoke.
나중에 하고서 딱 들이 더워라 때에 다 들이 라들 매요 또 그러더라 제가 벌써 맞을 때 나도 통고에 많이 매는 통고에 많이.
And so by depending on the correct sign that is basis. The correct sign is the smoke, right? You see the sign, the smoke, and through that you come to understand that there is a fire. You don't see the fire, but you see the smoke. So the sign of the fire, the smoke, you see that.
you understand? These are the things we thought of. So that is the kind of number that I'm talking about.
And so that's the example. Right? In similar way, you can come to understand about the impermanence, you can come to understand about the selflessness and so forth.
When I got the Shiva, talk Matawa, Matawa, Kansaji, that's the Simcha Chores. Captain Matawa, Shiva was, Shiva and Matawa Google was good.
So for someone who knows that the cup is a product, but doesn't know that it is impermanent, to that person, we can prove that this is impermanent because it is product.
But it is that
And so that person who comes to understand the cup to be impermanent by the sign or reason being a product, that would be inferential cognition, cognizing the cup as impermanent. So there is a provision because if it's a product, then it's necessarily impermanence. And so you can apply this kind of sign and reasons in many different ways. So they both are value cognizers, right? And so there is one which cognizes object which is not a value cognizer. Do you know which one is that?
Subsequent?
Geshe.
Oh,
So what's the definition of the subsequent cognizer?
It's called leaking vessel. Leaking vessel, right?
Leaky vessel.
Leaking vessel, right? It's
I'm trying to think of the exact definition.
Mhm.
Maybe someone explain it.
Yeah, just explain it.
Like the second moment of
Yeah,
relevance.
Yeah, good.
Realizes what he's already realized, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a knower that realizes what has already been realized.
Okay? 다 대시스템라 또로라 그랬어. 우리 돈으로 또로까지나 대수미에서 가리나라. 뭐라 책자로 지나다 대라토가 채고 그랬어.
So those are the three cognizing consciousnesses. So you should remember them all the time. Even if someone is hitting with a knife on your head, you should still remember them.
What are the three?
Yeah.
Which?
예수체마, 제스퍼비체마, 제시.
Those all cognize their object. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying.
또로 쓰면 돼. 뭐? 가로. 예수 제퍼치시. 가르치 또로 다른 남들 특징 하나 쓰는 가지.
What word is
Lorig.
cognize?
Tok.
또로.
Yeah.
또별로. 얘 또별로.
The inferential cognize, how does that cognize the object? Because I would think it cognizes the sign than the object.
딱 떠오르지. 그런
I think
되게
cognize
이유도
is not a
있다고.
good, cognize isn't a good English word.
뭐? 이없상.
Like realize or understand, one of those is better. Because cognize,
But you understand.
yeah,
You know what it means. You know what it means, right?
Yeah.
Cognize means like to know it, to
Yeah.
understand it. Yeah.
right. But sometimes when we say cognition, that like people will think of like the eye actually contacting the object.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
when we think of the inferential cognition,
Mm-hmm.
it's with the mind, really, the mind knows
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
저제거나 주콜라데 저제거 통 누구의 말이야. 다때 이지시마. 단다 미싱 오싱 통대도 그라 옹시에서 제버트만 똑바로 이지시마.
So it realizes that whatever the subject that is realizing, it realizes that. Like when we give the example of knowing that there's a fire behind the mountain, and through the sign of seeing a smoke on top of the mountain. You don't see it, but So that mind, that's the inferential cognition. The inferential cognition cognizes or realizes the fire, knows that there's a fire, so it knows the fire.
Yeah.
Through the sign of seeing a smoke on top of the mountain. So it directly sees the sign. You're right. It directly sees the sign, and then through that, then you come to understand that there is something else like the fire, or you know that it is a product. You know there's no doubt that it's a product. You know it's a product, but you don't know if it is a product, impermanence or not. And through the sign of being a product, you know that it is impermanence. Impermanent. So if you're traveling down Route 93, and then you want to stop to get a gas or to have some food, and you don't know where it is, but from the sign you know, oh, in the next stop there is a gas or there is a food. So the inferential cognition is like that. So you come to know that there is a restaurant or there is a place for food, but you don't see it directly. But you come to understand that there is because of the sign which says there is this food.
But we don't know where, how far or close. But we really know that.
So that kind of mind is called the inferential cognition.
You already have this mind many times, right? What the Tatala Jematas, and that Geshe said it also below him.
And the subsequent cognizer we already know, right? So no one that realizes what has already been realized, right?
Okay. That tell up tolos, you to below,
and so these are the objects. I mean, it's the mind or consciousness which cognize their objects.
Okay. What in that gets some of the jet for the summer carena and some of the chops. Young as the summer charm as long as some of the
What's the matter? So how many are there among the seven cognitions and seven awarenesses? How many are there which cognize their objects? If you look at the name itself, a direct value cognizer, an inferential value cognizer, and then subsequent cognizer. So those who cognizes their object.
Okay? Everybody understand? Okay. You never forget, okay?
You ask us next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Hey, maybe at that time, little turkey, then you forgot. If I said, you don't always ask it. Anyway, I know that you Lorig 제일 그대로 되라다. Lorig 되는 모시가지. 동조 소소도 실내가 아니 도로 가서 맞도록 가 모시나 Lorig 고로 실내 왔어.
So if we understand those seven, then then it will become a worthwhile, worthy of having studied about the consciousness and awarenesses, knowing what they are, knowing their definition, knowing their functions, and so forth.
Okay. 다 이마들로 가세요.
So how many are there among the seven which do not cognize the objects?
이치세들에서 봐.
So the first one is correctly assuming consciousness.
이치세들 아니라 일러와래서.
And so if it is correctly assuming consciousness, then it is it is controvertible, right? It's not incontrovertible, it's a controvertible with regard to its determinate object.
So
controvertible means is not correct, right? So which is correct is incontrovertible, and which is not correct is controvertible. So you just kind of a belief, it's kind of a belief which thinks that it's like this, but it doesn't have a good reason to prove that. You just believe.
Even me was,
So Ian is human being because he has hair on his head. Is that a good reason?
No.
Why?
Because dogs, some dogs are.
Yeah, she don't me was. She don't eat me was, I could just say,
So the Ian, of course, is a human being, but the reason to prove that he's a human being is not correct, right? So you don't know that you don't know really well that he's a human being.
Which of the five does that fall into? It's not contradictory because I do have hair, but it's not the right reason. Like of the five correctly assuming consciousnesses.
근데 인간은 근데 제가 왔다디. 그래. 인간은 왔어. 이정만에 왔어. 이정만은 근데 제가 왔다.
진짜 망해 봐. 자고 말았어. 거기다 맹 자고 말았어. 이제 망해 말았어.
So it's for which the reason is indefinite.
Indefinite.
That's a provision. Because if you have hair, it doesn't mean that you're a human being, right?
Right. 다 이은 미로 갖는 거라 다 없이나.
And Ian is human being because he has horn on his head.
대략 진짜 맞아 봤어. 맞아 봐 쉽지 않다. 이은 거라 나요 또요 말았어.
That's the one which the reason is not established.
No, it exists, but it. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
No, it's not established. You don't have a horn.
예, 대략 맞아 봤어. 맞아 봤어. 아니, 다 이은 거라 나요 또요 말았어. 맞아 봤어.
Contradictory.
No, it's
not.
아니, 특히 반 되죠.
Madrupa.
아니, 다 반에는 다봉한테 지들은 가와서 지워서.
You don't have a horn.
지들 가와서 때 그래. 잘못도 지금 맞더라고요. 잘못도 지금 맞더라고요. 잘못도 어떻게 다 왔어. 이제는 가봐래.
They do not have a horn.
The humans don't have a horn.
That would be contradictory reason. That's the second.
No, reason which isn't established.
No, the reason is contradictory. And
지들은 가비지. 지들은 가와서 잘못도 그러나 대신 니 돈을 받으나
No, it's not an example of contradictory.
그래. 다시 못하디 따봐야 되시나? 따봐야나 못하고 완치하고. 네, 일단 되는도 다시 못하디 대신 돈을 쓰나? 예, 다 되는 거 같았어.
더 그런 세대 가르쳤다.
그 사람이 진짜 망해봐.
진짜 망해요.
딱
망하면 맞아. 저는 거기서는 전화 생활을 이해해서 미인데 그걸 봐야 되지.
아, 대진데 맞춰봤어. 이걸 봐야 돼.
시바들이 나오더래.
대가대로 망해봐. 맞춰봐. 시와들도.
아니? 이거보다 그래.
나와들 망해봐. 제대로 따라 먹어. 나 어떻게 제대로 따라 먹어.
지금 내가 말한 거.
따라 먹어. 잠만 따. 나와들 시와도 잠만 정확하게 하게 그거는 다치면서 시와. 제대로 마시네 다치면서 시와.
Yeah, so it will be the fourth one, right? And the reason is not established. Yeah.
미시 다치면 또 미시는 다 미시잖아. 또 하면 맞아서.
So it says the fourth one, the correctly assuming consciousness for which the reason is not established is, for example, an awareness that apprehends sound to be impermanent from the sign of being an object of apprehension by an eye consciousness. This is a suitable example because object of apprehension by an eye consciousness is a reason that is not established in the proof of that. So there's no way you can establish the sound to be the apprehension, object of an apprehension by an eye consciousness, right? And so you of course the sound is impermanent, right? It's impermanent, but you can't prove, you can't establish the sound to be the object of apprehension by an eye consciousness, right? So it's not it's not established.
Yeah.
So first there has to be probation in the truth. If it is a subject, then it has to be the reason, and it has to be the sign. It has to be the sign. Like the sound has to be the product. So just like that, the product, the subject, is the product, is the sound, and the product is the reason or the sign. So the subject has to be the sign. So, but it can be an object of an apprehension by an eye consciousness for some beings, right? The sound can be seen by some beings. They can, like the snakes can see the sound.
Do you know this?
I don't
Can
know.
see a sound with their eyes.
You can see the vibration.
Yeah, it's not the same as seeing sound.
Yeah, I don't know. This is some I heard some.
Sound waves on
The
machine,
waves.
on machine.
Yeah.
you can see.
But that's no
Actually,
longer
that's-
sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't that be if like I'm a human being because I have a horn? Isn't that contradictory? Wouldn't that be the second one?
Contradictory would be like you are a human being because you are a dog, or some reason that's totally
Yeah.
contradictory.
But
Yeah.
I don't have a horn and humans don't have horns.
Yeah, it's not established reason.
Yeah, they have
There's
to be
no
contradicting.
human that
The
can-
human being and the horn has to be contradicting.
There is no human who has a horn. That's why it's not established.
Yeah.
There is no sound which is seen by the eye. That's why it's not established. You can't establish as a reason because I saw it with my eye that something is a sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So contradicting would be it has to contradict,
Mhm.
with the predicate. So the predicate is human being, right? So something, the Ian is human being, and so because he is, like he said, dog, because he's a dog,
Mhm.
or because he's a non-human being. If he's a non-human being because he's a human being because he's a non-human being, it's similar to saying that.
It sounds
Human
the
beings
same.
and non-human beings are contradicting, right?
Because animals have horns, so if I said I had a horn, that's like saying I'm an animal in a way.
Okay. It's okay. Anyway.
It sounded like the second one to me.
No, the reason what we're trying to prove here is that Ian is human being, right? And the reason you give is because he has a horn on his head. And so that would be not established. It cannot be established because you don't have a horn.
It's because there's a subject, which is Ian,
Yeah.
and then the predicate, which is you're a human
Being, yeah.
The reason, because you have a horn. So the subject is what we are talking about. So the other two things have to pervade each other, first of all, and then you have to have the reason has to pervade the subject too, right?
Mhm.
So because the predicate and the reason don't pervade each other, it's contradictory. Human being and having a horn,
Not each other, but
Don't pervade,
but the
right?
reason it has to pervade
they
has
both
to
have
be
to
pervaded by
The subject.
predicate.
predicate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can say Ian is existence because he is human being. You can say that. If he's
Right.
human being, it necessarily exists.
Right.
Right? But if it's existent, then it's not necessarily
necessarily
human being.
human
So
being, right.
therefore they don't pervade with each other.
Yeah.
But the reason has to pervade with the predicate.
So in this case, the reason doesn't pervade.
It doesn't
the predicate.
pervade, yeah, so-
Yeah.
So there's no way you can establish.
Okay. 같이 이치세도 같이 맞다 말이야. 해서 같이 거기 이치야 보면 말이야.
So anyway, correctly assuming consciousness does not cognize its object. It's because it doesn't have a good reason to prove that it is that, to cognize that.
어때지? 딱 이 맞다 그렇지. 와. 아니.
So that's one of the consciousness which does not cognize its object.
Right? 이치들은 나라 말이야. 다 나와야 맞지. 맞다가 되겠어. 어디 맞다가 들어왔어.
And then the awareness to which an object appears without being ascertained. That's another one which does not cognize its object.
근데 단단한 제가 가지고 락이라고 주디 봐요. 그거를 지도 누가 던지라고 그래서 가지 거기라 맞다.
So like while you're writing, you heard, but you heard something, but you're not able to ascertain it, right? So similar to that.
그래서 가다가도 생기지 왔어. 그런 주요도 지금 한다 싸워 나와. 이건 그런 주요 지금 한다. 그러니까 저 미니바이 무슨 바티 라니 나라 뭐 있으니 인정하세. 그런 거 라이 지금 싸워 나와요. 그런 거 아니 지금 나한테는 반 제일 이바지 된다 같이 나라고 되니 먼저 가시가 샤워스 가이 was 내가 그냥 맞다고 그랬는데 was
So know that is common. That is the common locus of having clear appearance of the specifically characterized phenomena. That is, it is object of operation, and being unable to induce ascertainment with respect to the specifically characterized phenomena. That is its object of operation. So that object, it appears to you, but you are not able to recognize it. Right? You are not able to ascertain it. So. And then there was that definition that we discussed, definition that someone might say with respect to what has been said. It follows that the subject, the direct, what's that? That an awareness to which an object appears without being ascertained, because of being that definition, the know that is a common locus of having clear appearance of specific phenomena, that is the object of operation, and being unable to induce ascertainment with respect to the specific phenomena, that is its object of operation. This is so because a direct perceiver cannot induce ascertainment with respect to its object. This is so because a direct perceiver is not an ascertaining consciousness. It's not ascertaining consciousness.
그래서 같이 당연히 기절에 주 건도 와서 주 바바바라도 건도나 갈라바 건도 왔어.
So you can hear, like for the sound and the sound, you can hear that specifically characterized, the sound, but you are not able to ascertain that specifically characterized sound. So it's similar to that. You heard that sound, but you are not exactly sure what it was talking about. So that's the second consciousness, which does not recognize its object. And then the third one is the doubting consciousness. So today we're going to talk about that. So with respect to the fourth of the five non-value consciousness, doubting consciousness, someone might say that the definition of doubting consciousness is that which has come with respect to its object. So if someone says that's the definition of doubting consciousness, would it be right? Do you see any problem with that? That which has a qualm means doubt, right?
Qualm, yeah.
Yeah, qualm means doubt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with respect to this object, so you see something, and then you're not sure whether it's this or that, and you have a qualm with respect to that object. So is that doubt?
Is it true or not? Yes, or not?
Is that doubt?
Is that doubting consciousness? That's the definition of doubting consciousness that someone's saying, right? If someone says that, would it be right to say that's the definition of doubting consciousness?
But not by its own
So
the Geshe Ngawang 인지는 발표도 더 셰바가 대승지 그래서 셰바스 뭐라
나도 가을도 라이라 도바트는 되나 라이라 도바 가사시 대승이 맞다.
wrong talking.
라면서 소설 봤어. 나 시발 봤어. 디코는 이게다 도바사 봤어.
It's wrong means it's object, right?
It's object.
And then talk.
Talk means to doubt.
No, this one wrong. Wrong toki tani su dope
네.
wrong.
라톱지 알아야 되는데 라톱에서 코랑이 톱지. 코랑이
Yeah, by its own power.
on power. Not others. No
So
others.
nobody has confused you about it, just you yourself are.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not.
So it's like if you see or if you heard, let's say you're on a hill and like down below is the city and you hear a loud sound, boom or something, and then you wonder, like, was it a gunshot or a firework? Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
대다
Yeah.
대 그런도로 다 미치게 남네. 다시 간사를 다 저쪽 어디 와서 뭐.
So then if someone comes and says, oh, might be a gunshot, then you have a second doubt.
Yeah, right. Then you are influenced by someone suggesting.
Someone's, suggesting
Yeah.
that.
But if you are alone and you have just a doubt, like was it a gunshot or was it a firework, that's like an instance of this one.
That's right.
This is the real one, right? Another real one.
That's the real definition you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But now this is not the real definition. It's just the definition, appointed by somebody, and someone who doesn't have any credentials.
배에 나가 딱 시바들랑 그래서 간제 대란나 다 아니라 때로 고나데 대성을 해서 가지고 뛰어야 그래서 아니라 또 강하게.
It says like it absurdly to this we respond. It absurdly follows that the subject, a person who has qualms with respect to his object, is a doubting consciousness because of being that which has qualms about his object.
Yeah.
The provision has been asserted.
It should say low, right? Or victim.
Yeah.
Read that look, the chicken does not know it. 근데 이제 간제 라이나 답을 강하다 다 대소 말이라고 그랬어. 라이나 답을 강하대. 대소 말했어. 이제 담보
So you understand that part?
Yeah.
what
Why is it wrong?
Yeah.
what's the problem?
It's, well, it says the definition is that too pointedly, it qualms too pointedly about its object, and that's just a simple qualm.
No, it's saying like on page 39 at the very bottom, there is like somebody suggests a definition.
Yeah.
Doubting consciousness is that which has qualms with respect to its object, but that is like general.
Yeah.
Can be anything.
That can be human being. That
A
can be
person.
consciousness.
A person.
Yeah.
And then you are naming a person a doubting consciousness, and like, well, it shouldn't be that.
Oh,
It
the
should
person
say,
is the consciousness. that-
yeah, it should say
Yeah,
an awareness.
knower.
Yeah, a knower.
Oh.
So knower which has a qualms with respect to its object. If you say that might make sense. But because it says that can be anybody. That can be a human being. That can be consciousness, right? So if you say that, then in the human being it says the person. So in the second page, it says next page it says a subject, a person who has qualms with respect to his object is a doubting consciousness. So the person who has a qualm, who has a doubt, is not a doubting consciousness, right?
Yeah, it's a doubting.
Yeah, it's not a doubting consciousness. It's a doubting person, right? So it's not a doubting consciousness. But if you say if this is doubting consciousness because it is that which has a qualm with respect to its object, person is that which has qualms with respect to its object, right? So therefore, it should be doubting consciousness. And so he's saying it's not.
라이나 답을 강하다 열어봤어. 라이나 답을 강하다 열어.
So is there a person who has who has qualms with respect to its object? Is there a person?
Yeah.
Yes.
열어. So who?
Who?
People who have doubt. Any person who has doubt.
야.
Right.
독바지라 되면 강하 라이나 답을 강하다 잘 알아.
So all the beings, all the beings who have doubt, right, can be the human being, a person.
어디 다 대통령이 당선이 당보도 말이 가나 대통령이 나는 강사도 도마 차는 강사대에 도마 말 가나 강사 시바 말아서 그때 그 발을 줘서
Yeah, so he says, the person is not a doubting consciousness because the person is not a consciousness. If it's a doubting consciousness, it has to be consciousness.
다들 당보들에 있어. 같이 이바디 나이가 도배 일바 대통령이 나는 저기도 갔어. 오들이야.
So that's the first one, right? I mean, then there's the other reasons why they prove that. But in the next person, so someone might say that the definition of doubting consciousness is a knower that has qualms about its object. So now this one gets a little bit more tricky, right? So now here it's saying knower. It's not just saying that, it's saying knower. So if it says knower has knower that has qualms about its object. If that is if it says that's the definition of doubting consciousness, is there any problem with that?
Yeah. Think that right?
No.
What's wrong?
It has to have qualms too pointedly.
I don't think so.
Tell me the words.
나 이러고 나 대고
Well, it doesn't fit the definition for that reason.
가르쳐나 대인바이나 아니 다 라이가 도미 시바 강가 안테는 줘는 거 봤어.
So in that case, then all kinds of consciousnesses, right? All kinds of consciousness which has a doubt will become a doubting consciousness.
대리다 대선도 투대주고 시간 못 모여 그랬어요.
So there are many consciousnesses which possesses similarity with the doubting consciousness.
또 강가 대좀 잘 알고.
Then they all becomes doubting consciousness. They have a similarity with doubting consciousness, but they are not doubting consciousness, right? Just because they have similarity with the doubting consciousness, they have qualms with this object, and therefore they become a doubting consciousness.
대리다 가는다 대선도 투대주고 조선도 다 시도 때 얼마나 그랬어. 조선세.
So there's a main mind also. There's one main mind that possesses a similarity with the doubting consciousness.
한때 말해서 그랬어. 말해서 아니 대선은 세주고 그랬어.
So is that main mind doubting consciousness? No, right? If it's doubting consciousness, then it has to be mental factor. It has to be a mental factor. So main mind cannot be a mental factor.
좋아. 다 때문에 막 대선도 투대쇼에 근데 샘도 샘주 강가 안다 대선 얘가 들은 상황이 다 사기 그랬어요.
So there are all these main mind and primary mind and secondary minds, you know, that has a doubt. So its object. So then you will have all those primary minds and secondary minds that are doubting consciousness.
다 단단하고 틀리더라. 나또이 다시 똑같아야지. 라고 뒤에 들어가면 대선을 받지요. 대선이 받지요. 그래서 대선을 주시고요. 아니 샘주다. 아니 조선도 강가 대선이 받지요. 그래서
So when it says by its own power, that prohibits all others from being doubting consciousness.
가나 대선 하려 도 되나. 나또 이탈리 도 말해서 가나 대선도 도와야 돼. 뒤도 시험도 말해서 다는 거 작성해서.
And so those have a doubt, but they don't have a doubt or qualms, two-pointedly by its own power.
Like those, you mean like feeling and those kind of things?
Yeah. 아니 feeling 다 세주 못 보여 가서 가지.
Yeah, there are many other mental factors, right?
또 간다 저 태도도 도와야 돼. 그냥 도와야 돼. 그렇지. 도와야 돼. 맞지. 이거 좀 맞대게. 다 고쳐서면 강하게
So they have a qualms, so therefore they can be, you can say they have a doubts.
근데 이자 구조 안에 도와야 돼. 가르마다 나타지 타있어. 나타지 도와서 말했어. 그냥 상황이 그랬어.
So, but they have a doubt, but it's not by its own power.
답답해라고 생각해. 나 가도 지금 밀려 당한 지가 아니야. 소소 도보 매가이나 미직 지내는 가도 도보 사이로 왔어. 대사한테 콜 남네 지하면서 가도 소소 다 사고 말았어.
And so, for example, the doubt, influenced by somebody else, right? Someone says, "Oh, it has to be like that," and then she says, "Oh, maybe it's like that," because not by your own power, but influenced by somebody else, and you think that it is like that. You have a doubt about that thing because of somebody else. So therefore, it is not a doubting consciousness.
So the first rejected one, like the second rejected one here, it says like a similarity, something having a similarity to doubt, a similarity with a doubting consciousness.
Yeah.
So does that mean that means like some other mind, which is influenced by doubt? So for example, in the same scenario, like if you are in the city and you hear a loud bang, and then you doubt, is it a gun or a firework?
Yeah.
Then you may also have fear based on the doubt, like fear that's influenced by the doubt, whether it's a gun or a firework.
Yeah.
But the fear is not a doubting consciousness. It has a similarity to doubting consciousness, but it's not a doubting consciousness. Is that the point that's being made?
그래. 답변에 먼저 지금 신화로 지구라. 단 맨날 그게 전부 고도가 신화로 그라. 쉐야기 로지라. 쉐야기 로데 다 대좀 말았어. 이나 하라더니 그 쉐야기 로데에는 어떻게 맨날 게 나기 다들 아주 매주 게 나네. 가네나 상대 그 도고서라. 내 신화기 로지라.
쟤는 어디 대선 많이 봤지?
대선 많이 봤지. 나도 그걸 너 도벌로지라.
도벨로에 봤지. 그 도가 사기 봤지. 나 나도 도도 말했어. 그러나 그때
나도 차리 올 거네.
그때 나 시야한테 가진 시야를 도바대 오고 시야를 왔어. 도바대 다 맨날 깨서 그 도바대 시야에서 대는 거 시야를 왔어. 대다 다 코라 신화도 도바
그래서
사서
그런 쉐도 거다 깨리 신셔. 깨
깨도
하는 식으로.
깨도 코에다 깨도 코에다 갖고 매다 깨서 그래서 도바 사서 도바 사서 그 신화 나와. 그러다가 도바 되고 신화 올로 되고 가지고 도바 사야 될 수 있나? 나 한번 도바
도바리 쳐서.
도바 되죠.
Right?
But I didn't understand all of it.
Oh, really?
그러나 도바를 사할 때 신화 좀 봤어.
So
깨
you get a fear, right?
Mhm.
The fear comes from what? Doubt,
Yeah,
thinking that it might be gun.
right.
Oh, somebody must be shooting.
You're not
Somebody
sure
might be
if
shooting.
it's gun or not.
Yeah, it might be, so somebody might be shooting. So then
Yeah.
when you think that, oh, so maybe somebody's shooting, then you get the fear,
Mhm.
thinking, oh, somebody's shooting. So that thought, whether it's a shooting or whether it's a firework or what, that thought, that mind, which is the fearing mind, which thinks about that and has a qualms, right? Has a qualm,
Yeah.
but it's not a doubting consciousness. And the reason is because it's not powered by itself.
Yeah.
It's one, and it's not also, it's not on its own power.
Right.
It's not produced by itself. It's produced by the doubt.
Yeah.
So first you have the doubt, and then that doubt makes you afraid to have the fear. The fear comes from that doubt.
Okay.
First you have her.
So, but it's not. It's influenced by the doubt. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
on
So it's like
its own
this,
power.
the one that says similarity with doubt. It's like that, right?
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
근데 지금 그러다 도바도 태송도 초대시면 생존도 간가 태송 도와나지 시도 도도를 쓰이나 아무도 도와서 태송 그 휴지 몰라서
So all these minds, or primary minds or secondary minds that are similarity, that possesses similarity with the doubting consciousness, have a doubt, but it's not by its own power. It's usually induced by a doubting consciousness. So there's a doubting consciousness, and that makes it, to think of, oh, what is that? Maybe it's a shooting. Then you say, oh, if it's shooting, then they might, I might get shot. Thinking about that, then you have the fear. So that fear comes from that doubt.
다음에 단다 초주 제가 모두 달로야 내가 줄 여기 도바용을 왔어.
So right now in your mind you have no doubt whether there is a snake or not in our backyard, right?
다음 게 나와 저 스낵 제 모이도 다 나타나는 통솔은 주죠. 관계이잖아. 이거 때문에 도바이를 왔어. 대 도바데 딱 예제지 올려서 왔어.
So then if I say, oh, there was a big snake, I saw it earlier, and then you have the, oh, maybe there's a snake, maybe there's, whether there's a snake or not, that doubt. You didn't have that doubt on your own, it's induced by me. And I told you, and then you get that doubt.
그래서 태송 제도 그 시바치네. 다그 도바사는 큰 거시고 시바 간가 다 도바사는 거지.
So then what is that mind?
Which mind?
So if he tells me there may be a snake in the yard,
Yes.
and then I wonder, like,
Mm.
I wonder if there is a snake here, there might be a snake or no snake. What mind is that?
마마 저도 도바를 왔어. 나는 왜 빼줘? 나도 다 주로 믿는 세주가 세주로.
그 도발하세요, 그죠?
대도바다. 내 빼줘야 돼. 주로 세주가 맞지. 다가 도바야 맞지. 얘 나갈 때도 주로가 나 도바사. 되는. 나는 주로 도바를 왔어.
So when you have that thought, of course, then it is a doubt. It's a doubt.
Okay.
내 빼줘야 돼. 주로 세주가 맞지. 세주. 다가 도바야 맞지. 내 주로 도바와서 왔어.
So now the example, you're like the mental consciousness, and the example that I'm giving is like, I'm the doubting consciousness. You're a mental factor, and I'm the doubting consciousness. So I say that, and then you get a doubt.
Okay.
So that doubt in your head is induced by me, and so but you're a mental factor, so you cannot be the doubting consciousness, right?
Yeah.
In that sense, So this is the example.
Yeah.
But if it's in the real person, I say that to you and you have that doubt, then of course that's a doubt.
Well,
근데 다나 조선에서 그거는 다 세주 도바에서 내 주로 도바와서 왔어.
So therefore, all the minds, in association, with the doubting consciousness, has a doubt.
다 도덕하고
Has a doubt, but they are not doubting consciousness.
that's right, yeah.
다 가는 다 나도 똑같은 말이야. 만약에 다내 도바가 도바도 주로 도바와서 와.
So because the reason that why they are not doubting consciousness is because the doubt didn't come by its own power. It was induced by doubt,
Yeah.
induced by doubting consciousness.
오케이. really make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
근데 이제 또 기타는 또 봤으나 다시 근데 천이라고 생각하래. 또 다니서 또 봤어. 다니서 가 있어야 돼. 예벌이 많이 벌써 이 나라는 이제 그래서.
So a knower that has calms, two-pointed by its own power. So that's the actual definition of the Dharma consciousness, right? So the two-pointedly means maybe it is this, maybe it's that. That's two-pointedly.
If we don't know, there's something we're not sure that we do. This all this that some committed.
Yeah, maybe it's prominent, maybe it's impermanent.
That's an example of two-headed needle they always use.
Two-headed needle?
Yeah, they always use that to describe doubt.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've heard that.
근데
Two-headed needle. Zenyi kabis.
저기가 대고 때문에 요라고 되는 거야. 대본다.
So how does that work? Example.
No, I don't know.
I just heard it before.
This not work.
Kapzenyi was.
갑자기 대전에서 놓고 알아 how they work. 다
Zenyi 거 지금 주도만. 디스커스.
대이다. 그걸 낮추서
Two-headed needle.
You cannot touch one.
So the needle.
I don't know.
So needle is long like this, right? Let's say needle is long like this. Two-headed, here one and here, or like this two-headed.
No, like this
Yeah,
way. Both.
both way.
No, it has to be this way, like this.
Oh, like this?
Like this, yeah.
Oh.
So if you put it like this, will it go through?
No.
No, it doesn't go through.
So that's the example.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
example.
in my head, I visualize it
So
different.
if it's two-headed,
It can go through.
it will go through. It will go through one place, right? If you will not go through here, it will not go through. So it will be stuck there. But then, so you don't know which one. Is it this or is it that one?
Oh.
That way.
That's what I've heard that before, and I visualize it the other way.
If you have like this, you will not go through it.
That
If
makes
you
sense.
go through that, it gets stuck here.
Okay. 가지고 하고서 와서 대리가 너도 생중감좀 가지고 나가면 과학하는 거야. 나가도 내다고 딱 이렇게 막 도파서 가리 봐. 뒤소리로 봐도 가리 봐. 나타나 너도 빼셔 봐. 아직 나 도파이 봐지. 저도 생주도 더 있는 봐지. 당이 저도 도파나도 저도 도파 사서 그러고 이러.
So other mental factors also can have doubt, but they're not a doubt in consciousness. The only reason they're not doubt in consciousness is because that doubt they have in their mind, in them, it's not by its own power. It's not two-pointedly by its own power, but rather it's induced by the doubt in consciousness.
대선 생각되는 저와서 대선 시대. 어디 있다고 너? 다른 한국나라 어떻게 다니도 또 배를 받더니 되니 대선자 수대지 샘나 된 거지. 저와서는 대선지 떡지 도바이기랑 어떻게 다니도 많이 넣었어. 어디다가 이걸 넣었어.
So here it says, right, the knower that has a qualms which two-pointedly by its own power, a mind that possesses similarity with the doubt and the feelings, etc., which are accompaniers of that mind possessing similarity with doubt, have qualms by the power of doubt. So it says, right, by the power of doubt, but do not have qualms two-pointedly by their own power.
그래? 다 대선아 옛날 대지 돼서 대민의 천이 돼서 쓰면
And so it says then when the doubt and consciousness are divided, there are three: doubt tending towards the factual, doubt tending towards non-factual, and equal doubts.
다 대지 되는 다 자부터가 이들이 섬도를 옛날에는 다시 이들이 섬도를 되랬어. 옛날에는 다시 이들 섬도를 되려고.
Yeah. So the factual. So this, if it is the first is like, for example, the doubt that thinks the sound is probably impermanent. Yeah. So maybe it's permanent. As, I think mostly it's impermanent.
나도 개체는 다 똑같이 하는 거 대로 그래.
So it's like when you make a correct guess.
네.
You guess it and then it becomes correct. It's similar to that.
그래. 그만
Tending towards
다시 도바는 다그 도바산이 제도가 제와다 대지 왔대.
So because it goes with the fact, so it's the factual.
다 데미지 됐나? 다 나도 개체는 놀줘요. 너 대라 다 데미지잖아. 다들 딱그만 딱 다시 따봐야 되는 거 대라 데미지잖아.
And then the second is, for example, doubt that thinks the sound is probably permanent. Or is it impermanent, or is it permanent, or impermanent? Or maybe it's permanent. Yeah, maybe it's permanent, thinking like that. So that you make a wrong guess.
다들 그걸 맞다고 많이 샀대 데미지 왔대. 또 많이 샀.
So because it's not the fact, it's not fact that the sound is permanent, right? So it's a non-factual.
뭐지? 다 선바디 다 따고 못 따고 네가 대충 찍봐서 다시 따면 다시 뭐 되게 사대요. 다 달라.
So the equals out. This is the example doubt wonders whether the sound is permanent or impermanent. So it doesn't say, oh, maybe it's permanent, oh, maybe it's not permanent, you know. It doesn't say that, but it says maybe it's permanent, maybe it's not permanent. So equal doubt.
나도 게스트 다 타치마다 밀게지 돼요.
So you guess and you can't come to any conclusion, and then you go to ask somebody else. So that kind of guessing, where you're not able to come to conclusion.
가서 도바다 휴식 찍봐야 돼.
So your doubt towards both of those things are equal.
나도 그때 내용도 아주 생각 그때 뒤께도 아주 시간이 너무 걸려.
Yeah, we always have that, right? That mind.
Somebody, what call exams, more or guess. Right?
Yeah.
When I took a down
Test.
test, I guess, just guess. Maybe the 20 questions, maybe I guess, maybe 5 right. But just, guess. And then the issue is about the
So we always have this mind, and it's kind of consciousness with us all the time.
다 대손 들어서 그렇지.
So, doubt is like similar to the, I forget how we said it in here, correctly assuming consciousness. It's similar, right? Maybe it's like cousin of, like the first one, the doubt tending toward the factual and doubt tending toward non-factual are similar to the correctly assuming consciousness, right?
이쪽도 찍어줘요.
기본적으로는 그 시바크가 맞지.
그냥 콜라엔 유튜브 거예요.
난 주제 가고 거예요. 다른 얘기 다
내가 유튜브 거예요.
근데 원래 이게 그 주제 거 뭐지?
내가 유튜브
내가 주제 개거 맞고 다 알고 있어요 지금 했었는데.
So you understand, right? So that one has a reason. This one doesn't have any reason.
Yeah.
You just think, oh, maybe it's impermanent,
Yeah.
but you don't have any reason to say it's impermanent.
But
But
this
correctly
one
assuming consciousness has a reason. And says, oh, it is.
야, 이렇게 커.
But
It
this
is.
one, even if it has no reason, it's divided. Where the other one isn't.
Well,
The
correctly.
other one has a tendency to think like this is how it is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no
It
doubt
doesn't-
there.
Yeah. Right.
There's no doubt there. It says, oh, it's like this because it's like this.
So when you have
And the because, the reason, is when you say because, that's where it kind of messes up with it.
yeah.
Sometimes it gives a good reason, sometimes it's a bad reason, sometimes a contradictory reason, sometimes the reason is not established, and so forth.
So maybe doubt tending toward the factual is better than the correctly assuming consciousness with like bad reasons.
Bad
Because
reasons.
At least you know you might be wrong.
You might be wrong. You might be right.
Yeah.
The first one doesn't have a reason though. The first of the 5.
Right.
So it'd be more like that, I think.
No reason, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, once you ask somebody else, then it's no longer doubting consciousness, is it, if you have, since it's not all under your own power?
Mhm.
동생으로.
Well, he tried to modify that statement.
I don't know, but.
You still have the
Get
qualms.
modification.
You still have qualms, but you're not. It's not the doubting consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah. If somebody tells you, somebody says, "Oh, this must be like this," and then
Right,
because
but
of
I
that
started
person,
out not sure.
and
so
then you
now-
ask someone else,
Right, yeah.
then your doubt is cleared, and someone says, "Oh no, it's like this."
Even if they're wrong.
Yeah, then you might have the
Wrong.
Then you'll have the
야,
correct
이제 야.
Yeah.
Then you'll have the correct
belief,
assuming
like
consciousness.
basically. Yeah.
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 Then doubt changes into correct assuming consciousness.
Yeah, that's good, Doubt, no, not also.
Okay.
Good, yeah, think about that something, Yeah.
So by its own power means that I myself have the doubt. I wasn't like I thought of it from someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like you get the example, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have that doubt, but he told you, and so now you have the doubt. Maybe there's this snake there.
되게 빼셔도 나 도파됐다. 조조티 고조 세중에 깨졌어.
So that's the example. He's like the consciousness, the doubting consciousness, and you are the mental consciousness, mental factors. And that's just conscious. Anyway, so for the doubting consciousness, when it's by its own, 어떻게 쓰세요?
심할 거는 없지.
I think Ramtok means like within the continuum of one person, there are many consciousnesses.
Yeah.
By its own power.
The one consciousness itself that is the two-pointed qualm is doubt, but it has the power to influence and color other awarenesses like fear or hope. Like when you have a doubt, like is it or isn't it? the fear or hope is not actually doubt, but it's influenced by doubt. So you can say that's a fearful hope, or a doubtful hope, or something like that. So it means like it has doubt, but it isn't doubt itself. The doubt itself is another mind, like a different mind than that.
Because I would think the doubt would be influenced by the gunshot. By its own power, it doesn't. Maybe that's
No, the own power means that it doesn't. It hears. You hear the whatever the object is. You hear that or contact it, and then you're not sure which one it is, and it's equally possible to be either of two. So you have your mind is split, kind of a split mind. Is it this or that? That's it. Just either one of two.
I was talking about the statement by its own power.
Yeah, by its own power means like that mind that has the split, it's this way or that way, that mind only. And then the other minds that come ancillary to that, when it starts influencing other things, like let's say you doubt if you're not sure if it's a gunshot or a firecracker, then you have fear, or you have some hope, like I hope it's not a gun, or you have fear, like it might be a gun, I need to run. Like those other minds are not doubt itself, but they're influenced by doubt. They're carrying like the effects of the doubt.
I'm just having the thought it doesn't exist by its own power.
It means here it's not induced by other kind of consciousness or other people. And other somebody else comes and says, oh, it's like that, and then because of that person saying, you might think, oh, it might be like that. So that would be not by your own power. But then the doubting consciousness it will have from its own power. Doubting consciousness will have that. And so when you first think, oh, maybe it's the gunshot, maybe it's the firework. When you have that thought, maybe it's this, maybe that. That's induced by itself.
So it means it comes from me.
That's right. Yeah. So, but then with that. Then you have the fear, thinking that, oh, maybe it's a gunshot, maybe I'm going to get shot, and all this fear comes up thinking, So that fear came because you have the doubt, thinking it is a gunshot. And so that fear has a doubt also. It has a qualms, but it's not a doubting consciousness.
Because it comes from the doubting.
From the doubting consciousness. Because the reason is it could be a doubting consciousness because it has a doubt. But the reason why it is not doubting consciousness is because it is not by its own power.
Okay? Look at that. I think that's all.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? Then maybe we can stop.
Question.
Yeah.
In this category, say how many among the 7 do not cognize the object? What was the first one?
A direct value cognition. The direct value cognition?
That does or doesn't?
Doesn't.
But that doesn't.
That's
So that one is the first one is the correctly assuming consciousness.
Oh, correctly assuming.
Yeah.
And then about the doubting consciousness, the doubting consciousness is a deluded consciousness. Yeah, I mean, like a Buddha, like an enlightened person doesn't have a doubting consciousness.
Definitely. It is. Of course, it's deluded consciousness. It's one of the 6 root delusions. Yeah.
But sometimes it's good, right?
That's good.
There's a famous line from Maurya, like even if you have a little bit of doubt, or things maybe not inherently existent, can shape, like tear apart samsara, or something like that.
Yeah. So if you have a doubt, then you might come to understand later. The doubt itself, of course, is not good, but with the doubt, then you will have the interest. Then you will come to understand. So you will come to understand. If you don't have doubt, then you will not come to understand. First, you have to have doubt. But if you stay in the doubt, then that's good. Yeah. So if you have a doubt, then also it might lead you to the negative results also.
Yeah.
So there are 51 mental factors. We all have that. We use it all the time. So we have them and we need them before we become enlightened.
Sometimes they help to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, any other questions? 그래서 다 인지 이제 또로서도 제 말을 되게 개좀 쉬어야 돼요.
So don't forget those three cognizing consciousnesses.
Okay, we study very hard to Lorig and
It's pretty easy actually in the name itself, right? There's a direct cognizer, and then an inferential cognizer, and then there's a subsequent cognizer. So those three is cognizers. The others don't have that name. As a correctly assuming consciousness, and then awareness to which it appears, but it's not ascertained. It doesn't say cognizer. And then, of course, tardy consciousness doesn't say that. And then we have the fourth one, which is the wrong consciousness, which doesn't say that either.
Can you ask us next week, Geshe?
maybe next time I do a little bit tricky.
Turn it around next week.
I'll turn it around.
But you know, this is good. Just little thing, you know, 독바당 태도도 또 이런 것도 그대로 이어버렸어요. 그지 신발대로 내리는 것도 물질적으로 왔어요.
So this is always there, you know, this mind. There is the cognizing minds and the non-cognizing minds, and all these are there all the time, but they're just not identified.
근데 독바세네 뭐가 다 제대로 상다. 그거 우리 방문에 다 또요 봤어요.
And so first you have a doubt, then you try to look for the reason, and then through that, then you come to understand. If you don't have the doubt, then you will not look for the reason.
그래서 나도 독바 뭐라든지 오케이. Any other question? You're looking for a question.
I just wonder why they use the cognizer for those three.
Because they cognize the object.
Yeah, but I feel like
또로 가지
does it say cognizer in Tibetan? I don't think so.
Awesome.
yes, 제봐 제시에서 가로 늘죠.
The Tibetan no, it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
They made it easier for the
Right.
English studiers.
Also, Yichu, they say
There's some-
correctly assuming consciousness doesn't. It's just belief, right?
It's a belief.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some Tibetan word. 동보스 뭐 또로 제니 뭐 또로 나도 싸우는 가지 떠인 것도 있어. 그것이 제일 가지.
말해, 너도 그게 나한테 또 들어야. 또 별로
아 내용 말이야. 다 또로 가려서 나그 제맛만 있다 다 또로 좀 무슨 거라서. 백하나 되어 버려.
So because they are very cognizer, therefore, you know, it's considered as cognizers.
Yeah, it's assumed. Yeah.
제니코나 딱
It's not assumed, it's really true, it's they are cognizing
No, I
objects,
mean,
but-
when they write it, they
When they
don't
write
have to put in the tope lo.
Oh, no,
because
no.
they-
yeah,
They know, the reader knows that.
that's right.
얘네들 다들 특식을 동보스 뭐 또로 제니 뭐 또로 세탁이 강한 잘못 것이 여여.
So there's this verse in which actually describes, you know, so those first three are cognizing mind, and then the last four are not cognizing mind. But Geshe says he doesn't remember those verses, you know.
This shows I'm getting old. Also in the class.
I just have one question I was always wanting to ask. So if they say, like, well, for example, what eye consciousness sees is valid, then, for example, like in Buddha Shakyamuni's time, what the Buddha's eye consciousness saw, is it the same as what an ordinary being's eye consciousness sees? If it's both valid, does what appear to a Buddha is what appears to an ordinary being?
미국 통화대 미식이 존재해라. 얘네들은 너 미식이나 그러다 생활 몇 착수였어요.
그것이 가능하다는 것이지. 정말로.
Yeah, so like for example, if you see the eye consciousness which sees the mountain as blue, the white mountain as blue, it's not a valid cognition, right? It's not a valid, right?
No.
But it's the eye consciousness. It's the eye consciousness seeing that. So it's not necessary if it's eye consciousness.
It's not necessarily valid.
Yeah, it's not necessarily valid. Yeah.
So for example, to a Buddha, even to a Buddha's eye consciousness, everything would appear empty,
Mm-hmm.
but an ordinary being, everything would appear solid. And
To
Mm.
eye consciousness, though?
is that
I don't know, is emptiness something you see with your eye?
Mm-hmm.
directly, like an Arya being would see it directly?
상기가 미식이 일단 돈이 떠올랐어.
또 사기 또
일단 내버리고 또 올랐어.
사기 또.
나는 다른 사람 심지어 미식이 되는 내버리고 남겨놨어.
다들 가서 단조를 시작해. 너도 올려놓고 계셔도 이거 말았어. 단조를 오시는 주시옵자, 30분 주시옵자. 그래도 나그랬어. 다들 또 딱 가랬어. 아주 너도 올려놓고 내 발전만 나와서 나왔어.
So yeah, I mean, it depends on the different tenets. You know, like, of course, you know, in Thubten Damchoe school, we will not say that everything you see is mistaken. But of course, according to the Prasangika Madhyamika says, everything the ordinary being's eye sees is mistaken. All the eye consciousness of the ordinary being is mistaken.
Geshe Ngawang Tenley.
So yeah, it's again, there's a difference in wrong and mistaken in this kind. You know. It would be a mistaken consciousness because it sees the things as existing from its one side, but it's not a wrong consciousness because it can still see the cup as a cup, you know, and so it's not wrong. So therefore, that's the difference in seeing it mistakenly or seeing it as wrong. You know. It's two different things, and according to the Prasangika Madhyamika's view. And so, according to the Thubten Damchoe, you know, there's the eye consciousness who sees the cup, you know, is valid cognition. And then, but according to the Prasangika, you know, the ordinary beings, the eye consciousness who sees the cup, is a valid cognition. You know, the ordinary beings, the eye consciousness who sees the cup in Prasangika Madhyamika school is a mistaken consciousness. So there's two different things.
But you don't want to go there, then more confused. You don't want anything for us.
It makes sense. So if like an Arya being sees the cup, it will appear to them as empty.
밥을 일단 따두면 밥을 가서요. 밥을 가서 돈 모두 밥을 가서 따두는데 내가 가서 이 카피 내가 돈 거였어.
또 오잖아. 내가 나가였어.
내가 돈 나가였어.
내가 돈 나야 돼. 내가 나가였어. 또야 돼. 아니 내가 또였어.
So to them it appears as existing from its own side, but they know it is not existing from their own side. So appearing from the object side, it appears as that, but from their side, they know it is not existing from its own side.
Emptiness isn't like you don't see with your eyes.
Yeah, so there's the grasping and the appearing and grasping. So it appears, but you don't grasp.
나 그러고 비길 때 그런 나 주도도 나도 뭐지 그냥 내가 주는데 이제 나도 가능해 봐. 다른 거 그게 이해하는 거 그게 누구지? 나 누구지?
근데 내가 생겨 봐. Yeah, so there's appearing and then grasping. The appearing from object side, it appears as exists from its own side. But ordinary beings, not only it appears as exists, but also they grasp at the object as exists from its own side. And so yeah, it must be, it is exists from its own side. It appears as exists from its own side, then it is exists from its own side. And then, but the higher beings will say, oh, it appears as exists from its own side, but it's not exists from its own side. So there's no grasping. There's appearance, but there's no grasping.
But is that the same for a Buddha too?
Buddha is different.
He doesn't even see it.
It doesn't appear as exists from its own side, and it doesn't grasp at both exists from its own side.
So there's a difference.
Don't do it without us, okay? Okay.
The ordinary beings have both.
Yeah.
The higher beings have only one. Buddha have none. Buddha don't have either. So of course there's no eye consciousness which sees emptiness.
Okay,
Thank you, Geshe.
look at that. And thank you, we finished now.
We finished?
Yeah. No, we can stop here.